Hi, and welcome to another episode of Starship Gaming. Now, today we are going to do something a little different than what we normally do. First of all, I'd like you to stick around for a while and watch this video all the way through. I am introducing a new segment which I think you all will find to be interesting. If you watched my 100th episode, I announced that I was going to have some new segments, including bringing my friend Steven, who you may have known from Random Steven Moments or even The Laugh Center. I'm going to introduce him with a new segment, and this new segment is called Steven Says. Now, his topics will range from everything from video games to testing products, unboxings, and whatnot. Expect that. But let's get on with the main feature, which today we are going to talk about. And we haven't talked about any Christmas video games in a while, so I figured, let's get busy on that. So today we are going to talk about elf bowling. And it has a pretty bizarre premise when you really think about it. So, Santa's elves go on strike. So, to get his revenge, he decides to bowl them. Or to go bowling and use them as pins. Yeah. So anyway, that's the game pretty much. You just bowl elves. And, it came around and, it was popular in the early 2000s. I actually remember playing the very first one. Someone gave me like a CD-ROM with the game, I guess, burned on it. Back around I'm going to say Christmas 2001, around that time when I had my Gateway Windows 98. I believe it was the Gateway Windows 98. And that was the first time I ever played that game. And honestly, I liked it. Eventually, within a year or two, I lost the CD-ROM, or, the burned CD. And the game didn't surface for me again until years later. So, fast forward to December 2007. I was in my local Big Lots, and I happened to look over and see the Elf Bowling Collection. Now, I had no clue there was more than one Elf Bowling game. And I bought this collection, and I tried to get it to run at the time in December 2007. I still had a Windows Millennium computer. I believe it was a compact. It did not work very good. It would not accept certain programs. I ended up giving it to a friend of mine, 6 months later, but I ended up getting a new computer that Christmas, which ironically happened to be a Windows Vista compact computer, compact PC, I should say. So anyway, I had my Windows Vista computer, my compact PC. I call it a computer. I don't use the term PC, to be honest, that much. Anyway, I put it on there, worked beautifully. Started playing the game. I was like, okay, OG Elf Bowling. Ooh, Elf Bowling 2. And then the other ones. And then, there was a 3D version. I think it might have been called Elf Bowling 3D, I believe. Actually, no, it wasn't 3D. But it had every Elf Bowling game that was released up to about 2006. I think the game might have been 2005, but, up till whenever the game was published. Anyway, and I had purchased the game from my local Big Lots for $9.99. I forgot to mention that. The game is actually pretty rare on PC now to find disc, because copies of it are going for upwards of $60, $70 now, apparently. And I lost mine probably about 10 years ago, so I don't know. But honestly, this collection was amazing. And the thing about the original Elf Bowling, it was actually, when you really think about it, it was kind of ahead of its time. Because at that point, the internet was still very, very early. I consider the internet early up until 2004. 2004 being... I have a weird thing about eras in computer terminology and whatever. I consider anything 2004 and before the beginning era of internet, and it's my own personal eras that I come up with, but we're way off topic. Anyway, it was at a time when the internet was still young, and Elf Bowling, was out there. People were playing it, and it was during a time when a lot of this stuff was starting to become popular, and you had a lot of games, you had a lot of freeware. Of course, freeware wasn't a new thing in 1999, 2000 when this was popular. So it really was kind of ahead of its time when you really sit down and think about it. And the humor in it, was pretty good for the time period. Now, if you have never played these games before, there's a couple ways you can get access to play them. Of course, I don't think it's very easy to obtain a copy of the Elf Bowling collection, like I mentioned, that I got back in like 2007. Mainly because of its rarity. Like I said, it's going for like $60, $70 in some cases. You may be able to find it cheap. Like if you can find around $20 or $30, that's a bargain, to be honest. But it's pretty rare to find. Of course, you could probably find the first one online as like freeware or something. Because I think the first game originally, or at least the first two games, were originally free on the internet, if I'm correct. And then the later ones that came after the second game are kind of harder to find. They're just not that common. Of course, there is the infamous Nintendo DS version, which if you can get your hands on that, that's one way you can play, but, it's better to play it on a PC, I'm going to be honest. So, in other words, the first Elf Bowling game, if you can get a hold of a copy of it, play it, definitely. The other ones, definitely try them if you can find them. There's one that I loved in particular. I'm thinking it's called Bocce Style. Elf Bowling Bocce Style. It's like, it's 3D rendered, so it's pretty fun. I may be saying that wrong. Everybody's like, oh, you said it wrong. Okay. If I did, I did. If I don't, But anyway, you can play Bocce Style, which I found that to be the more enjoyable ones out of the whole collection. So if you can find that one, definitely play that one. But you definitely need to play the very first one. Yeah. Now, moving on, I'd like to bring in our new segment, Steven Says. Like I said at the beginning of this video, if you stuck around this long, he'll be talking about any number of things from movies to vinyl to toys. He'll do unboxings. He'll talk about stuff that he's thinking. So let's kick off the Steven Says segment, and today he is going to talk about his favorite Christmas video game memory.
Greetings and salutations, how's everybody doing? So, a new wall. Oh, and Brandon had suggested he wanted me to do a video, so here's a video. He suggested my favorite childhood video games that I might have gotten as for Christmas. Just so you know, these are some of my favorite games, but keep in mind my memory might be fuzzy, because I've thought over these games, so one of them I'm positive I got for Christmas, the other I'm just not sure anymore. Well, the first one is A Bug's Life for PS1, and this was, I think, the first PS1 game I ever got. And I know what you're thinking, oh gosh, another Bug's Life fan. But for its time period, when it came out, this was a great game. It still is. I'm still nostalgic on it. The atmosphere, the music, I have so many memories of this. I mean, like at times, like this is back when I was a kid, so my dad was still like to play video games. And one thing is, like, if you played Bugs Life or PS1, you know that a lot of people just quit after level 2. But the one thing he can never get is he can never get across the canyon, which was level 4, the canyon. Like, yes, so basically you have to use Click and you have to use a game to go across the red. He could never do that. So he'd always play everything on night. He says, "Hey, can you do this across the canyon?" I said, "Sure." And I just would do that, and so it's got so much great memories. I wasn't able to beat this game until I was a teenager. Another game I love was Disney's Magical Racing Tour. Not sure if I got it for Christmas, but it is highly nostalgic for me. It really is. Especially for a Disney fan, it really is. I think I either got this racing game first, or I got Crash Team Racing. I cannot remember, but I still love this game.
So, I hope you enjoyed our new segment, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Of course, Christmas is coming up. We're going to be doing some more Christmas videos before then for Christmas 2019. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps out if you do. It helps the channel grow and helps us grow and motivates us to make more videos. And don't forget to hit the bell. That'll let you know when we make more awesome videos. And until next time, I will see ya.